Hello, 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 everybody. I am your androgynous android game show host from the future, Nathan Blades. This is the Neon Costa Twitch channel, and happy Sunday. Thank you very much, Ruben, for the 6th month sub while we were in the loading screen. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're good. Hope everyone is good today. I hope everyone is handling the weather today. The heat wave in the UK started yesterday, and it was pretty brutal then. So we're doing our best to keep cool. We're in much more breathable t-shirt than we're normally in. So even though we're getting cozy today, hobby time is here. Welcome, Valthek. Hi, hello, 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 hello. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, we're going to be doing our best to not die of hay fever or overheat while we stream today. We'll see how far we get and we see how well we do. Technically, because I did do a reasonable amount of streaming last year when there was a heat wave, and just about managed that. So hopefully we can remember how we did it last time and get in well on this time as well. Is the stream skipping? Give me a second. Let me look on my end and see if my video is skipping. I'm looking at myself moving and my video is pretty consistent. You're going to be hearing the audio in just a second. Bear with. That seems pretty good to me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, sorry, it might just be you. I apologize. Maybe give your browser a refresh. But yes, hi, hello, welcome, happy Sunday. I haven't done a painting stream in a hot second. And there are two minis that I was torn between painting on stream for a while. The one that we're not painting today, I have over here, is a 3D print of Blade at scale for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Ruben, who is in the chat, got me this for my birthday, and I have pre-primed it, so it is in its base like shades of purple, light gray, and white, and it is ready for painting. But I do want to save that for a little later in the month. I'm going to be part of a chain of VTuber streams doing a Pride themed stuff later this month. I want to say, let me double check what week that's on. I want to say the 24th, Saturday 24th. At reasonably early, like 11 a.m. my time. And I wanted to do some Pride miniature painting. So I figure that would be something I would save for that. So instead, we have a thing that we kitbashed on stream a little while ago. This Angel of Media, as I called it, which I'm very, very happy with how this kitbash came out. I think she looks sick. But I haven't got around to painting her yet. Big gun, big trumpet gun, because, you know, heraldic angels come with trumpets, right? So, you know, I figured it would be an apt ad. But yeah, we're gonna go and paint that today. And we're also gonna make sure that we have jams handy. Give me a second. Let's find the jams. The jams have been found. Okay. Herald of the Apocalypse be like, doot. Yeah, they the Herald of the Apocalypse sounds like, if I can find it. Oh my gosh, I wish there we go. You. That's what the Herald of the Apocalypse sounds like. Okay, good. Now we got that joke out of the way. Goodbye. Right. Okay. Cool. And then we're gonna go hit shuffle. And it's probably going to be quite loud. Bear with me. Okay, beautiful. Gosh, having a painting handle would be a good idea. There we go. Yeah. I actually got back into miniature painting again, because I kind of come and go in waves depending on what else is going on in my life. And also do let me know how the music in the background sits against my voice. Looking at the waveforms, I should be okay. Bump that up a little bit. but do let me know if it needs to be quieter. Yeah, because the last like tabletop tea time stream we did, we explored some of the stuff I bought at UK Games Expo, and I've already started putting paint on some of the minis that we bought. So there was this mini. Let's hold it up to camera in a way that can be seen nicely. That I painted on Friday morning. I completed my morning meetings on Zoom, and then was like, I have a bit of free time. So over the course of 2 hours, put paint on this. The sculpt reminded me of Aquasoul from Battle Network 4, and so I used the color schemes for that. We've got a kind of like duochrome paint effect on the kind of like ribbons in the hair. I really like how this came out, and then wanted to glue it to an acrylic base so it looked proper Battle Network running through the internet. Hell yeah. But there's also a number of kind of like high fantasy minis that I want to paint in a Tron style later on, or for a war game thing that I'm doing with Tom. And I've started it. We're not all the way there yet. I still have metallics and neons and stuff to paint on these. But I wanted to kind of get the contrasts of the matte and the gloss black across these relatively swiftly. And then the white outlining. The white outlining on the tights was actually pretty fucking difficult. Some of them, like the ones in the back leg, they're a bit blobby, and I need to go back and fix those. But this is already looking sick, actually. I'm really, really happy with how this one's coming along. So yeah, kind of taking the kind of bardic, high fantasy, puffy trousers and ruffled collars energy, and making it cyberpunk is generally the theme of this set of additional minis. We have this one here that is very much a bard, like a one-man band. I love that he's got the drum strapped to his back with a little wind-up key and everything. I for color rocks. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm very I'm definitely kind of getting much better at it, but I think it's largely I am painting lots of minis in the same color scheme and using that and applying that to different shape forms. Because I guess when you're painting a miniature army, right, when you're painting like Warhammer or whatever, and you're painting Space Marines, all Space Marines are roughly the same shape and have armor in the same places. So painting them all the same color is actually pretty easy, because they're all the same colors are going in the same places largely across all the miniatures you're painting. And these minis are all from different manufacturers, so it's me trying to like look to see what about these minis I can apply my styling lessons to. I really wanted the hat to be in the gloss black with the really matte black underneath. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the feathers and neon colors. That's going to be lots of fun. And I love his. I love this this cape as well, with the little tassels at the end. Yeah. These are all works in progress, by the way. So even though I mean, I could call these table ready. Big Silver Chariot Requiem energy. Yeah. Hey, Merlin. Thank you for the Prime sub, I appreciate it. Good afternoon, my dear. How are you doing all the way in Australia? Last one we'll show. This is a mini that I bought actually in like 2020 at the start of lockdown. And was like, this sculpt is amazing. I love its JRPG energy. It's too detailed and I'm too intimidated to paint it. And I'm still technically too intimidated to paint it. Some of the stuff on the flag is very complicated. But we've started to make our way with the color blocking on it. We'll get there. But yeah. This little troop of 4 are going to be part of a war band later on. So I just wanted to show you some of the progress excuse me, of what I was doing previously. First moved into a new place, very tiring, but glad to be mostly moved in. Congratulations, congratulations. Friends of mine have also recently gone through the process of moving house, and I know how much of a fucking nightmare that is. So yeah, congratulations on the move. That can be a real pain in the ass. But yes, we're gonna move on to the main event. We're gonna be painting Ha. This gal is gonna be painted today. And I was kind of agonizing the last couple of days over what color scheme we're gonna do it in. So I started digging around for some references, and it reminded me both of Shin Megami Tensei and the kind of like angelic designs in that. Kazuma Kaneko, who is a pretty famed character designer for early SMT. I really love his artwork. He has a very high fashion approach to his art, his character designs. And then also, because this is a cyber angel, looking to Mega Man Battle Network again. So I actually managed to find 2 separate designs that share a similar color story. Here we go. We've got Seraphon from Shin Megami Tensei and the Tomahawk Beast from Battle Network 6. Had a Warhammer tourney yesterday as well, so it's been an additional crazy thing on top. I see. Needs to enter a drag ball. Yeah, I love a piece of clean campness going on. So I wanted this to be the sub name for this is the Angel of Media, with the giant TV screens and the big like trumpet gun. So she's got audio visual going on. The like cables from the big screen stuff plug into her back, and the back is also a speaker. I really love how this kitbash turned out. I'm obsessed. But yeah, I like the green and gold and the metallic red accents. Oh yeah, SMT Strange Journey. Strange Journey is a difficult ass video game, but I really like some of the armor in that as well. But yeah. These two angels are definitely going to be my main inspo. I'm going to make that a little smaller so we can still see. Do let me know if I need to move things around so you can see both. That might need to go. I need to go here. Let me put that here. Yeah, there we go. That might be better. Okay. So I guess first of all, we're going to be working on getting this green going. A bit of a desaturated, like, teal green. Fortunately, I quite love working in teal. We have a handful of options here. We have Briar Queen Chill, which is kind of like a light grey with a green undertone, which we can definitely use. So we're going to be using a bit of I think we're going to be mixing up our contrast paints a little bit to be able to get a combination right directly where we want it. So we're going to be using a little bit of this to kind of get some opacity, some pastel. And then maybe either using the Athematic Blue from Citadel, or potentially the Plasmatic Bolt from Speed Paint, which I quite like. I like the consistency of Speed Paints a little more than I like contrast paints, even though they do a similar job. So we have a little mixing pot here. Give this a big shake as well. Don't shake and sip tea at the same time. That will go very, very poorly. I don't need to be spilling it all over myself. Okay, cool. We're going to go and take a little bit of the Athematic Blue, 2 drops of that. And we're going to get... we can kick up the energy a little bit in terms of background music. Let's... Oh, sure. Absolutely. We're going to use a little bit of this as well and get one of my thicker brushes. And get a shading brush. Games Workshop shader brush. Yeah, no, I have my like electro mystery jams going on for the playlist today. So they might be a little somber, a little tense. But to be honest, I think that's what I think of when I think of Shin Megami Tensei, like classic, like non-Persona, is a degree of ominousness from the jams. So I wanted to kind of have a little bit of that going on in my ears as I'm painting this, because this is going to be a very vibrant mini, but I also want a degree of sinisterness as well. You know what I mean? But we're just softening up the brush a little bit in our water. Because sometimes, especially if you've been painting with a brush and then it dries out, the bristles stiffen, so they need to be softened up again a little bit. There we go. Looks good, looks good. Solid amount of our Briar Queen Chill loaded up on our brush, and just kind of get it in our paint palette and get it mixed up with our plasmatic bolt until we have something of a nice consistency. I'm pretty happy with that. Still finding the right placement for my stuff. I know that the boots, I think, are definitely going to be in this contrast paint, so we can definitely do that first. The Briar Queen Chill likes to pool in the recesses and not sit on the surface as much as some of the other contrast paints. So this might require more than one layer to get where we need to go, but that is a nice mint green already. We may also go in with a detail brush later and give it a gold trim for some additional bling quality. But yeah, that's already a very vibrant green on a single layer. And do this on this back boot as well. This boot is in shadow. The way that I shaded this mini with my primer is to shade in purple rather than black, so we have a very bold undertone color. I think it gives it a character that you can tell I painted it, based on the fact that we use purple consistently as an undertone. You know, those real artists out there going through their blue period or what have you, and I am on my purple period. I am in my purple period era, not on. Poor choice of words. Okay. Yeah, these are pretty unnuanced base coats. Shut up, Ruben. I didn't say it. It's fine. I guess we probably want the helmet exterior also in this mint green. I'm not quite getting enough light. Let me adjust my light. There we go. Oh, that's better. Hopefully that doesn't interfere with the webcam too much. No, it doesn't. We should be alright. So, Magister, Merlin, what Warhammer faction are you playing? I think since we last spoke, I have gotten much more into Warhammer than before. Not enough, I admit, not enough to actually go to a store and play a game. I can't be that cool, but I have started painting Adeptus Mechanicus miniatures. So I am in. I'm slowly getting in. Maybe you are playing Age of Sigmar and not 40k. As I hear, Age of Sigmar is a better made game than mainline, which is why they are preparing to change the words. They're planning to change the rule set of Warhammer, because 10th edition is imminent, if not already out, as I understand. And the rule set changes they are making are specifically putting it more in line with how Age of Sigmar works. So they are clearly factoring in feedback from how other people are playing the game and what works and what doesn't, which is good. Although I was having a conversation with my partner yesterday, actually, kind of talking about how ultimately Warhammer's business model is to just, sell very pretty miniatures, and the how good the system is actually rather secondary to whether the rules are to how pretty the minis are. People will buy pretty minis from a substandard game when that, let me... Do we want... So we want some mint green on the staff, right? And we can... I guess we're going to be using a lot of gold and silver, so these parts are definitely going to be the metallic accent, and this kind of like pole in the middle is what's going to be in green. Okay. Yeah, we're doing a lot of color blocking for now. Once this base coat layer of the green is more dry, we're definitely going to be going in with a mixture of contrast paints and regular acrylic paint to do finer details, so we can afford to be a little bit slapdash, a little bit splotchy, because those are going to be fixed as we proceed and get further in with the painting. And also when I switch to kind of like a finer detailed brush than what I'm currently using. We embrace the messiness. Yeah, a little bit. There is a thing that I found very interesting about the process of learning to paint miniatures is that you realize that some parts of the process can actually get away with being quite messy because later steps focus on cleanup. So it's okay when going through the color blocking that there are stray splashes of color where they aren't supposed to be, because you can kind of go in and fix that later on. Deciding, I guess there's going to be parts of the gun that also are going to maintain some of the green. I also need to decide how we're going to do the coloring of the wings. Whether we go for the green on the wings, the silver. I kind of want to use some of the red as well. We do have some metallic red going. Yeah, I'm willing to take suggestions from chat. Looking at our reference image in the top left. What 2 colors should we be focusing on doing the wings in? They can be 3 colors actually, because we have the inner part here, the main part of the blade, and the blade tips. So we could actually use 3 different colors across this. But I wanna hear your opinions, chat, on what kind of colors we should go in. We don't need to use the green just yet. I'm also gonna double check one of my other references. We don't need that reference anymore. Okay. Handle. And then otherwise shades and 2 shades of metallics. Okay, gun. That's fine. I think wings being silver would provide a nice backing. Okay. Yeah. I am down with making the main color of the wings silver. So the kind of like a big flat parts of the wings are definitely going to be silver. And then I guess we go for another light color for the tips. We could probably go for green for the tips, actually. I'm pretty okay with that idea. And it means we can still use our big flat brush when we're not shaking. Just getting that color across the mini. Letting the shape of the mini do some of the work in terms of getting the color where it needs to be. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it's very satisfying when you can just, rather than do a detailed or difficult paint job, just kind of like run the brush across the surface and the shape of the surface does the work for you. Very satisfying. You can see, I'm holding this in a place where you can see it, right? Yeah. Do pipe up in chat if I get too lost in the sauce and start holding the mini in a place where you can't see. I will generally try to make sure it's in a place where you can see it. We have the blue along the tips of the wings, and we can make the main body of the wing silver into that. Let's see, anything else that needs to be in our teal. Kind of going over some of the other bits and places which may be coming through it, which are maybe a little patchy. Just kind of adding a little bit more color into those spaces just to make sure that we are getting a nice even coverage. The insult of the neck is going to be... We can get under the chin a little bit. Okay, looking good, looking good. I'm gonna have to make a consideration about the trimmings on this. I think I want to do the trimmings of the screen in gold, actually. We're getting a nice color coming through on the staff. The purple is coming through in the recesses quite nicely. Yeah, Geisters, painting time, painting time. Painting time, painting time. How are you doing today? How are you doing on this illustrious, very warm Sunday? No, me too. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of the kit bash itself. I don't want to do a substandard paint job. You know what I mean? Okay, let's move on to our next color. We need to do some of the inner shaded areas, which is just going to be in a blue-black, Black Lotus by Vallejo Express color. It is a solid black with like a blue undertone, a blue-green undertone, which I really like. I feel it's a bit more, gives a bit more color depth than going for just gray. This is already, I use this one quite a lot, actually. I used to use a very dark purple for my blacks across my painting, but having another option of a dark color with some depth to it is nice to have. I'm just going to be fussing around to retrieve one of my paintbrushes. There we go. What are we doing for bend on this? Okay, we're good. Let's go. Cool. So black is really useful for color blocking in spaces that you definitely want to highlight as being recessed, or so, you know, for robots, that is very much kind of like aiming at the places that would be in between joints or not clad in armor. Like this area underneath the shoulder pad here. Just getting that in. And already you can, because I've, you know, base colored the space in white, the contrast between black and white here is what we're aiming for. We want to use color to aid the readability of the mini, because you can paint in details to go and add in that readability, but it definitely saves you a lot of time if you can already help a third party's eyes along to tell what a part is, if it's an arm, if it's a backpack, if it's some technology. Especially since, even though this miniature has a very clear silhouette, we're definitely working with a lot of bits and pieces all at once. So we definitely want to make sure that we can use color to delineate what the parts are. So again, we're just kind of going into the places where between the plates. Oh my gosh. Let's just go away. Okay, there we go. I have to go back in later on that. We're going to go in the back of this leg here. Space here and paint this black. We're probably going to... We're definitely getting it in these little, like, hip sections here. Make it clear that those are a different part of colour. Nice, like that. What other areas? The visor is definitely going to be black as well. But we are going to use a gloss paint to kind of get that where that needs to be. Let's see here. At least some of these pipes also need to be in black. That cable is probably going to be in metallic. These cables at the back are going to be a bit of a nightmare. We might just dry brush these silver and leave it a day. Call it a day. Let's cheat where we can find places to cheat. Yeah. This part of the booty can just be shaded in black. We don't need to worry too much about the finer details there. That's fine. Any parts of the gun do I want to kind of put in black? And we probably need to do it on the screens as well. I have a plan in mind for the screens. I'm going to use some booty on stream. I know, a scandalo. We might actually use black on parts of the gun, and then top those in silver, but using the black as an undercoat. So just using our thinner brush apply some black at this stage now, and it will be made fancier later on. But we're just kind of, making sure that it's filling these little segments in this, like, I guess, ammo chamber on this gun. On the inside of these trumpets as well, we can probably put in black before we start adding colors later. Just making sure that that is all colored and accounted for. Okay, yeah. As well. I might need a second coat later, we'll see. Alright. Let's do a little bit of black lining. Just to run that on the inside between these crevices. Almost like a wash that we can kind of poke at later to really get some of that detail out. But for now, we're just using it to give me a visual guide for later. Sometimes painting details can be really hard if the what you're painting is quite low contrast. So you're like, oh, where do I need to put my brush? I can't see. So sometimes doing a little bit of underwork like this helps later. You can already see from here that the different pipes are a little bit more defined now that we've run some black in the gaps. I'm also actually going to switch to use some of that dark purple anyway. Give me a second. I don't think I have that. Well, let's push this along. Too loud. There we go. Where is the color? This is the color. Hive Dweller Purple. This is what I used for black a lot of the time in the past. And it works very, very well as and we're gonna use it in conjunction with some gloss as well. I think I want to do the visor with the purple rather than the black, so we've got a little drop of that. Put this in one of the others. Okay. Even though I have a color scheme to work from, I'm still kind of live winging some of the bits and pieces. So we're gonna use black to fill this part. The helmet. Sorry, I'm not doing this on camera properly. There we go. Okay, and there's an edge there that we can, well, actually, I can probably, yeah, there we go, that was easy. Cool, alright. Then we're gonna go and clean our brush off. So we don't need to use the thin brush anymore, we're gonna be switching back to our main shading brush. Make sure this is actually clean. It still has a little bit of the green we were using before on it. Make sure that's fully clean. And we're going to take our gloss. Where is our gloss? We have our Ard Coat gloss. And we're going to be applying that to the dark purple contrast that I put in earlier. So we have a gloss purple, and we can use that on a handful of different things. We're definitely going to be using it on the visor. We're going to be using it on the screens. So we're going to start mixing it in there. We want more gloss than we do want color, but it's adapted that color quite quickly, actually. There we go. Nice. It's quite thick as well. It dries reasonably quickly, so we only have a little bit of working time here. But we can always paint over it if it goes not to plan. It's all thick. It's all thick. Let's have a teeny bit under. Since it's a shiny surface, we don't want to have our brush strokes in it too obviously. Oh man, it's already tearing. Fine. Yeah, there may need to be a second thin coat of it, but that's largely at first try. It's a very shiny visor. Oh, I haven't really listened to the new Janelle Monáe album because the full album came out earlier this week. I think on Friday. And it crossed my mind to go listen to it. And then I got distracted, mostly by listening to the Spider-Verse albums. Both the kind of like orchestral score by Daniel Pemberton and the kind of like additional songs. Oh, did it? Yeah, we're bad guys. We're both not across it. I will say, as much as I stan Janelle Monáe, I love her Afrofuturist conceptual work the most. So her initial EP, Arcandroid and Electric Lady, are my favorite works by her. Dirty Computer is a good album, but it doesn't really deal in conceptual as much as the other stuff. So it's like, oh, I enjoy this, but I wish it's not my favorite. And the Age of Pleasure is what I believe the new album is called. And it also, I don't believe, works on the kind of like, not indulging in the kind of like Afrofuturist plotline of the rest of her work. So I'm looking forward to listening to it, but also I'm like, I'm prepared to feel that this isn't for me, but we'll see. We will see. Maybe do the backpack in the shiny black as well, actually. I think that might be a nice thing to do, and then we can do the detailing of the pipes in a bold color later. But we can spot fill in shiny black for now. The Queer Awakening album, but the Cindy Mayweather saga was so good. Yes. Yeah, we're just continuing with the color blocking process, finding the areas that would benefit from this shiny. And that's another thing I've been experimenting with as of late. Using the contrast of shiny and matte, of gloss versus matte, to highlight detail is something that I've been looking at. This is still very chunky. I have to add a lot of water to get it to not immediately start tearing. And because I'm using contrast paint, it's trying to pull away from the edges a little as well, but that's okay. All right. Anywhere else that also needs to be in shiny black? Not really. It might be okay for shiny black for the time being. These will need a second coat when they dry, and as will the mask. But if I try and do that now, it's going to tear, so we need to go and give it some time. Let's start then working on the silver, so we can do the silver of the wings. Now, we're not going to be using the metallic straight away. Another sip of tea. We're going to do some groundwork in pale blue. I love this pale blue from Vallejo Model Air. It does a really good job at being a base coat for white, as well as having an interesting undertone, because it is a slight blue-green undertone, really. So it is a color I use often when working with minis that need a futuristic cleanness to them. Because it feels a bit dirty as a color starting. It feels a bit muddy and desaturated, but it is an excellent precursor to adding details later on. I'm aiming for kind of getting the top edges of these. Sorry, there we go. And also blocking out some of the areas that I will want to paint, marking out the areas that I will later on want to paint silver. So we're gonna highlight this part. This wing as well. There we go. Good. Oh. Again, just using the surface geometry to guide my brush instead of having to be super dexterity accurate. Love those instances where I can cheat a little and make my life a little easier. Are we also drinking tea at home, by the way, or coffee? What is our drink? What is our drink of choice for everybody today? Oh, I think we can just also get a nice bit of grey slathered on the back of these to help for later. I am drinking actually an infused milk tea. You can even see that I've got a bit of star anise in there as well. I brewed a saucepan of milk with some Earl Grey, some cinnamon, and some nutmeg. I have been watching somebody do a playthrough of Coffee Talk recently, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, the process of brewing tea and coffee for something is one of life's delightful rituals. Drinking water, drinking Lady Grey. Hey, going for that kind of citrusy vibe. Excuse me. I dig it. I appreciate it. But yeah. I even though I have not really done much in the way of like witchcrafty stuff for quite a while. I used to hang with a number of trans witch friends I would do tarot readings for, which I enjoyed immensely and kind of miss. I need to get back into that kind of thing. But it made me think a lot about the everyday rituals we have, you know, the things that we do that take a dedicated amount of time. But the fact that it takes time is the point and not a pain. and not something that pains us, right? You know, the process of doing it is maybe relaxing or meditative. And I find stuff like brewing coffee, putting on records. Yeah, I love to put on records when working, like tidying my house, or if I'm painting and not on camera on mic. I saw a good post on Tumblr about coffee this morning. The taste of coffee makes life make sense again. I see that. My relationship with coffee is a little not necessarily interesting. I've talked on stream before about my how am I phrasing this? Burgeoning contentions with realizing that I probably have ADHD, and in lieu of being able to get fully medically diagnosed, because the waiting list is very long. So if I was waiting for obtaining drugs, it would take me a very long time. But a trick that some people do is drinking coffee for the hit of dopamine to help them focus. So I have started doing that too, and it has worked. It has also given me a mild addiction to coffee. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. Not so bad, but I can tell that there are points sometimes in my day where I am tired and my brain is like, go have a coffee, Nathan. That's the solution to this particular circumstance, is you getting a coffee. And I'm like, is that the solution though? Or is that just now my brain telling me that's the easy way out on a task? Especially if I would rather go and save that coffee drinking for a period of time where I need to focus on something. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're delineating where all the silver parts on the gun are in comparison to the gold parts that we'll be painting in separately. Making sure this part's going to be in. We don't want to paint it on too thick because I still want some of the underpainting of the purple to show through, so we're not just fully recoloring it into grey to then make silver later, where we're using a little bit of our underpainting to do the work for us here. Okay. With the caffeine, it's tricky because the line between base level and the hit starts to blur. Yeah, you don't want to get into that state where it's no longer doing anything for you and you just need to kind of like have more coffee or more advanced coffee, whatever the fuck that means, to be able to get where you need to be. I want to try and avoid those circumstances, right? Still not quite sure how I want to do her lower half, whether this is going to be in gold or in silver. I guess looking at a Seraphon would be working in gold. We can do the basing for gold in a bit. Next, actually. Right. So I need to think about how I'm going to be approaching how we're doing the gold. I think yellow ochre is probably the way to go, because this is we're using yellow ochre in the same way that we were. That color balance of that is very off. Let me fix that. There we go. Better. That's more accurate to what we're looking at. But while we're here, let me have a look at what we've got so far. Because this is also a very cool toned model so far, and we could do with putting in some warmth, which is where the red and the gold is going to come in to kind of add that warmth back in. excuse me, a little bit of the gold. We've already cleaned the brush off. We definitely know that the gun is going to have a lot of gold on it, so we can already kind of go ham in highlighting what our gold parts are going to be on this. Again, this is establishing undertone. It's okay if we are a little bit messy or that we see some of the color underneath. This is a guide for us later, and also to have bits and pieces of this color poking through when we actually put the metallic layer on later. This is the darker yellow that I have. We have a lighter yellow that we're going to be using in a later stage. So we want to be getting the areas that are going to be in the darker color, because we are going to go over in the lighter yellow in a little bit. Side as well. We definitely want the. I wanted the frame and the skulls to be in gold, I recall. Just tinting that space in the yellow, knowing we're adding in a new shade of yellow later on. We probably want this band down here to be in gold. So getting inches of the gold there. Okay, right. We've resolved that we want that in silver. Maybe some of the clasps can be in gold as a contrast point. And this is just an entire nightmare of wires that I'm not looking forward to paint, and maybe I just won't. Maybe I just won't. Maybe I just won't. Oh, I like the idea of these speakers on the back being in gold. And it contrasts nicely with the purple. So we've painted half of these in the darker shade of yellow. And then we're going to go in with the bright shade of yellow in a little bit. I'm still not sure about the legs. And this forearm armor here, does this also need to be in the green? Maybe. Indecision. There's also the potential. Oh, actually, these inner wings here, I think, can also be in gold. I think that might be a fun option. So we're running the gold into these kind of creases here, because I think the gold radiating out from behind the head would look really cool. We're just going in quite light, just working with some of the shading we've already got, and we'll do the detail bits later. And in the back as well. Oh, we don't actually have to do as much of that in the back. Just getting these little edges. Wait, I think you can still see. Yeah, you can still see. Oh. I got a little bit of the yellow on the edge of the wing there. I can clean it later, though. I can clean it later. Let's not stress about that too much. Okay. Yeah. No, I like that. We've now got the kind of like yellow framing for the gold that's going to be going behind the head. I think that looks very majestic. Red was also a thing we had considered. I guess that's going to be like a big accent color, and it's deciding where that accent color comes in. I don't want to just do the bottom half of the body in red, because that feels like it would be very Christmas tree. I think the crotch area there probably does need to be in the green. Do we need to mix up some more? We have some left. And that's going to be this sleeve as well. Also needs to be in this green. And then I will have to mix up some more. And hands probably need to be in the black or the dark purple, either or. Okay, yeah, that armor there is in green. Yeah, we need to mix up some more of that. That's fine. And a bit of the Briar Queen chill. Nice. Ugh. Nice helpful serving of that to mix in. Yeah, that's already looking like what I want to see. Okay. And we are doing the inside of the... Sorry. That's better. A bit more light. The underside. This as well. There we go. And this forearm here also needs to be in the blue, or the green rather, mint green. Okay, cool. Still torn on this armor plating. I guess it's like finding alternating bits of silver and green. Because it feels like this part here needs to largely be in the green. And we can be a bit impressionistic about this as well, as we then define the shapes a bit better as we go in later. As we have this kind of like shoulder, or not shoulder, like hip armor here, which feels that should be in a contrasting color. Let's make me this close to the camera. This little like section here probably doesn't need to be in green. Maybe then this panel needs to be in green. That makes sense to me. And we're going to go and do that on the opposite side as well. We're rapidly moving into a space where I'm wondering if we even actually have room for any red. Red, I guess, is going to be the very much the rare accent color that we're using. Is that? front leg part and the knee, I guess, is going to be in silver. So you go and do this part in the green. And then the knee armor is also in silver. Okay, that all makes sense to me. That all makes sense to me. And as long as we do it consistently on one leg, we'll be fine with the other. I just need to match them. Yeah, looks a little messy now, but once we actually kind of get it in and we get the colors in, once we get the metallics on, and I do a little bit of black lining to make the panels feel really separate, we'll be really in there, I think. I'm actually in a position where I want to start, I'm not using white, the light yellow, I guess. Chat, do we want to start doing the gold first or the silver first when we bust out the metallics? Your choice. Already looks clean, thank you. If we get real close, go with gold. You can see on the knee, that's a bit messy right now, but we'll clean that up when we start doing the metal paneling. Let's do the gold first. Okay. I'm going to switch to a thinner brush and bust out some sunny skin tone or ice white. Well, ice yellow. We're using some ice yellow. So this is going to be some very, very bright gold. We're doing this underpainting of different hues. So we have some purple, we have some kind of like yellow ochre, and then we have some very light blue yellow, in the highlighted areas. So we have a range of color depth underneath what we actually paint on in the gold. This should be fine. So we're using this ice yellow, and we're building on top of what we've already done. So we're taking some of those areas that are going to be highlighted and just kind of raising the accents up by just dabbing in the little bits and pieces that we definitely want to feel brighter once the gold is included. And it's not everywhere, just in key spaces. Again, you can get quite impressionistic with this. That's on a little too thick, but we can clean that. You know, it's all about being able to read your decisions at a distance. Yeah. Got some Danganronpa in. Nice. I do love the various beautiful. This is Danganronpa 1, Beautiful Dead, but all of the kind of like exploration themes from Danganronpa I love a lot. Beautiful Lie from DRV3 I think is maybe my favorite, but Beautiful Dead from DR1 is well, one of the things that made me fall in love with the game initially, right? I think the investigation leads to 2. Oh, sure. Across the tops of these little skulls as well. Just kind of dabbing it in. Thin this just a little bit. And start going for. You can still see that. Move it in a little bit more. There we go. tops of these wing edges here. Make sure they really feel vibrant. You can tell I'm concentrating because I say less. Apologies. Getting caught up. Oh, let's make the little shoulder pads here also in gold. These little shoulder ridges here. Okay. I think that's all the gold detailing we want right now. Yeah. All right. So it might be time for the metallic paints. Okay. We might need more than one metallic paint to work with here, but that's all right. Where's my dark gold? I have my bright gold to hand, but I think I need to start with some dark gold first. Sorry, give me a second, chat. I will be right with you. Here we go. Balthazar gold. It's a dark browner gold that we can do in some of the deeper areas, but it requires quite a shake. So I'm going to get that shaken. So the game plan is to go to the really deep areas that will be gold and apply some of this, and then go to the brighter gold and then cover the other areas with it. Okay, you can hear the mixing balls on the inside actually shaking now. God damn it. Okay. This is why people have a... Oh god, all of the names on these are stupid. They're specific so they can be copyrighted. Because, you know, Games Workshop can't copyright Yellow Ochre. But they can copyright fucking Doomfire Magenta or Hex Wraith Flame. So yeah, it's entirely for copywriting reasons. It's annoying actually, because sometimes the naming doesn't actually really match what color they're supposed to be. There is a color called like Achelian green, and it's turquoise. Silly shit. But yeah, now that we've got this shaken up, we're gonna go and maybe a chunkier brush than this. Let me see if I can find one of the larger brushes. Oh, it's here. I was wondering where specific brush was. It's roughly the same, but I think this one is better for metallics. So I'm going to put this to the side. Yeah, this is what the Green. Yeah, silly names. To be honest, if they were punny names like Nurgle Green being Green, I'd be more into it. Tip needs to be softened back up again. There we go. little bit of water in with the mix of this so we can get some translucency through. So we also want a relatively thin mixture for this dark gold. Let's start using the dark gold in some of the smaller areas so we can test. It goes on smooth like butter though. Different brands can have different qualities of metallics. I haven't. There are many fucking like YouTube video explainers that kind of talk about the best metals or whatever, and I don't know what they are. I just pick ones that I think look useful. But yeah, we're just going in on those areas that we said that we would paint in gold before, and start actually adding the gold now. You can already see there's a little bit of a metallic reflect. Gun is going to be our biggest use. Pipes followed in. But you can see, even though it's metallic, it's still showing through some of the colors that we've picked already. So it's not just a flat gold, there is color depth and nuance to the gold, which is what we want. So the bits that have a purple undertone maintain that purple undertone, and some of the bits that we made brighter also stay bright, which is good. Okay. Just get these areas gold painted in, nice and easy. No stress, just get that metallic on there. We can do the detail work later. You know, why stress? Oh, it does go on smooth. In some places it really does go on nice and smooth. Love that. So, right, getting an angle that you can also see is a good call. screen as well. Some of the bottom of the skulls with the gold as well. Yeah, that's looking good. You can actually, even though I don't have all the gold on yet, you can still definitely see there is a proper reflect in it now. And on the gun as well. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, alright. And that backing and the wings. I only want to go about halfway up with these. This side we can probably go further up because a lot of this would be theoretically made in shadow by the television staff, so we can cover most of this in the darker shade of gold. And it still has some of the color coming through from underneath, which is great. Okay. Anything out of the little shoulder tubes here also need to be in gold. And these connector bands are also in gold. Is there any parts of the screen remaining that need to... This part, this lower part of the screen can also... There we go. Alright, we might be at the part where we're using the brighter gold now. Ah, these down here also need to be rendered in gold properly, yes. Still the purple undertone. And the gaps between the wings. It's a little fiddly, but we can do it. And on this side too. Okay. It's taken place. Oh, thank you, Ruben. It's definitely taking shape. Definitely taking shape. Okay, let us move on to the light gold now. And then how long are we going to go for? We're going for an hour and a half, and we might take a 5-minute break so I can go stretch. But let's finish the light gold first. Remember that I said I was going to take a stretch after doing the gold, right? Because I will forget unless somebody reminds me. So we have our auric armor gold, which is a much brighter yellower gold that we can do. We will do the stretch, but not yet. I want to finish what I'm on, and then we will go do the stretch. Don't worry. Another big shake. Big shake. Wow. Okay. So, moving this out of the way so I don't immediately get gold all over it. A much brighter gold than the gold we were previously using. A nice little dollop of it. Here. A touch of water to get it to be a bit more blended. And now we're going to finish painting the gold that we were doing before. So all of these trumpets now have a much brighter gold on the edge. Across the top. You can already see that it is a much bolder gold color than what we were using before. Maybe even hitting up some of the areas that we did in the darker gold just to kind of blend them together a little bit. It's just going and covering all those remaining bits, all those remaining gaps that we didn't get to the first time round to make the whole thing feel complete. That's a very gold gun now. Look at that. Nice. Okay. And the screens as well. See, I really like, forget where you can see this. It moves from the brighter gold to the darker gold now along here. That mix so it still stays pretty enough so we can still get some of the color tone underneath. It's important. We did all that time setting color depth with our shading in purple. It would be a waste to lose it. Herald of the Heavenly Technomancy. Yeah. No, that is very much the mission statement of this particular kind of paint job. So we did need to kind of get that holy gold and silver. I mean, I suppose we might be pushing the silver to be more white, I guess. The thing, painting white is very difficult, and a lot of people would prefer not to do it, and I understand and empathize with those people. It can be very, very difficult to get a convincing white out of paint, because white paint tends to not be very opaque. So you have a lot of fine layers that you need to be. Opalescence could do it. I do actually have a pearlescent base that we could use. There's going to be... we might do a little bit of experimentation here to see if we can get it where it needs to be. Because to be honest, I could use a white ink with some kind of pearlescent or duochrome reflect in it to kind of get it where it needs to be. That might be the plan. That might be the solution. Where was I? Just get into that here as well. So looking good and nice. Okay. Right, okay. Yeah, that gold with the purple on the screens looks very nice. And we need to get it on top of these as well. So the speakers on the back now have the metallics there. That looks cool. I really like that. Yeah, we're not really overdoing it on the metallics, which I think is also good. You know, you don't want to get into a circumstance where it feels like it's all super shiny. We need some parts of it that read as matte as well for the contrast. Which might be the strike against us actually doing full silver and instead doing opalescent instead in places. Sorry, angling it so you can see. I've got little bits of flakes of gold on the screen, but that's not a huge deal. That's a thing we can fix later. But yeah, I definitely like the gold behind the head now. That is working quite nicely. Oh, no, I am still watching. Yes, please. I can also switch the song up. Sick. Let's see here. Oh yes, the front of these. Beautiful Lie, which is currently playing, is my favorite Danganronpa exploration theme. I shouldn't get too in the weeds of this because I was going to take a break in the stretch, but this is where we are so far. which I think is actually some very solid progress. I think that is looking very good. All right, let's go and take a stretch and some hydration. And in 5 minutes, we will be back to go and try out doing some white and opalescent. We'll be right back, everybody. See you all soon. Hello, welcome back. Let's get the music back in. There we go. Nice. How we all doing? Did you have a good stretch? I took a lot of good stretches and rehydrated with regular water and not just my tea. I haven't quite finished my tea yet. And did some thinking about how I want to approach doing our opalescence. Hey, properly stretched and hydrated? I am indeed. I hope you are too, Lisa. Thinking about how we want to proceed with our pearlescence. I think it's similar to the way that our gold has the purple undertones in it. We want our whites or pearlescence to have multiple undertones in it as well. So we've already used a little bit of the ice yellow. I think we're going to be doing that to block out some of the areas of our pearlescent space, to kind of counter the cool blue-gray in some areas. And then on top of that, there is an effects paint that I'm going to use. If I can find it. Where did I put it? Is it here? No, it's 40 places. Where's Feywilds? Is the thing I am looking for. Oh, here we are. Feywilds has like a pink and green vertical reflect, and I think mixed with some white ink, it will be a much subtler effect that we can kind of wash over what we've done to kind of get it into an area so we can get a bit of a reflect without it being too shiny, which is our main concern. But first of all, we need to go and do some underpainting. And this kind of underpainting is an interesting bit of detail work. Because this paint can be quite thick. We don't want it to be too thick. We want it just so we can have some of our work underpainting show through. But if it's too thin, it will run and I won't get clean lines where I need them to be. So it can be a bit of a push and pull. In fact, depending on where we apply this, I may need to be using a much thinner brush than what I would normally do. Let's say here, we were talking a bit about how my partitioning of the green versus white is a bit indistinct. I can use the ice yellow here to recarve out where the spaces are supposed to be. Making it clear that this area is supposed to be white and not green. Get those nice and clear delineations in. And also do some stuff like edge highlighting. Now, I am gambling a little here. You know, I don't necessarily know that if this is going to be the strat or not. This may look absolutely bananas at the end of it. We don't know yet. We are being bold here. We are being bold and experimental here. But to be honest, you got to experiment a little bit. And if I fuck it up, I can always repaint it. I can always paint over it and do it again. You know, we're being very selective here about where we are putting this this yellow. Just in places to exaggerate the parts that need that readability. So you can already see where the joints in the knee are here a bit better, and on the knee and the back as well. I need to try the knees and the wings as well. I'm sure that these also end up feeling multi-toned. Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. In the back as well. Yeah. Because we're probably going to be using some actual white for some true highlights later. Oh my gosh. Instances where I can get a little bit of a color blend in now, I think would be useful for making the effects feel very interesting in the future once we start putting the effect paint on. I might even mix in a little bit of matte median in it to stop it from being too shiny. We'll see what needs to be done. I can always add matte varnish in later. Too much. I put too much on. Let me go and clear that off before it dries. So get rid of that. There we go, come down. Edge highlighting can be a pretty delicate process, so sometimes you need to kind of be willing to jump back in and clean up an error. be a little too much. We'll see. Let's wick some of that away from the base of it, actually. Okay. Trying to work in that yellow to purple gradient on these back ones. It's fiddly, but we got something of that going in. No, it's at this point very gradual. Don't want to overdo it. Yeah, okay. Right, is there anywhere else that also needs... these hip areas here also need a little bit of this ice yellow in the middle. Can we even get at this hip plate here? We can. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Right. I think we might be pretty close to the point where we start applying our white in. All right. Now this is the experimental territory, so pray for me, chat. We've got some Inkintensity white. Very, very fluid, very liquid. Because we do want to kind of give this a bit more of a wash style property. We're not doing a heavy painting over of what we've already done in a different color. And we have our Feywild's effects paint. And the effects paint is quite thick. Sprue is a valid place to experiment. That makes a lot of sense. That would require cleverness and forethought rather than being very excited to go and do a thing and then just doing it without really considering the lasting effects of the design on something that you spent a long time building. I never said that I was a smart android. Just an excitable one. Oh, there we go. I didn't. This one. So we have a little drip of our Feywild duochrome. We probably don't want too much of it in comparison to our white, actually. So we might want to put two drops of white and blend that together and see how that go. Yeah, it's turning into a very pale pink. Hey, Sheila, welcome. Welcome. I like the consistency of that. We are painting this Cyber Angel. And seeing how it go. We're about to go and get experimental. There was a very good suggestion about using a pearlescent effect instead of silver. So I have made a combination wash of white ink and pink-green duochrome paint. And that is already definitely whiter than it was before. So I am encouraged by this. I'm still waking up, going to be working on stream assets once you do. Nice! And thank you for the compliment about how the paint job is going. Yeah, we're probably going to have to bust out the detail brush in a bit to get the everything where it's supposed to be. For now, this as a white is actually, I think, working quite well. I wonder if I do need to add in more of the duochrome to get the reflect effect in. And it's definitely going to have to be multiple layers in some places where it's making too big of a jump from light to dark. But it definitely, the parts that are supposed to be white definitely look more like that now. Which is good, encouraging. With painting white being as difficult as it is, the easiest way to work around it is to be impressionistic rather than literal. In. Yeah, no, I'm feeling encouraged by this. Back to concentrating Nathan mode. Hold on. Okay, and then we start working on the pipes on the gun. Fortunately, more of the gun is gold than what would be gunmetal. And I can always go in with a little bit of gunmetal later to really cement the parts that are supposed to be dark on the gun. In fact, we may need to revisit some of the parts that I use the black contrast paint on to get a much stronger tone out of it. But the practicalities of this, of the lesson, I think are already starting to rear their heads. This is looking encouraging. You know, some parts of this might require more than one coat to achieve, but that was true of literally any attempt to paint something white, so I'm not going to get too caught up in the fact that I will need to return to some parts of the detailing to get them there. That was always going to be the case. Okay, the shoulder pads next. How was that supposed to be in the dark color? No, it's fine. It's easier to paint darks over light anyway. So we won't worry about that. We'll return to it. Ooh. Oh yeah, it's definitely brightening up the wings as well. I do like how that is shaping out, actually. Those Necromunda bases are just so multi-purpose. I mean, yeah, for real. I like the idea of a pre-sculpted base. I do appreciate and respect to the people that can paint an entirely new base from scratch. I am sadly, or rather, I don't want to need to be. I don't want to be in a position where I have to be one of those people, I think is my answer. So it's kind of like, oh yeah. If I can use a pre-made, pre-sculpted base, I absolutely fucking will. Oh yeah, this is really working out, and it's a lot more pink over a darker base color, which is interesting. Thank you for the stretch and hydrate. Give me just a moment. That's a bit I didn't consider. There is this metallic trim here also needs to be in a color, but we can handle that in a bit as well. We can handle that together. Let's get in these quick layers. Here, can get a stretch and a hydrate going on. That already looks very nice. I'm very happy with how that's looking. Right, okay. I might need to add another drop of the duochrome, but I am very happy with just how a single coat of white ink is already doing to make it read white. Yeah, those wings definitely are much brighter than they were before. And from the back as well. Yeah, let's go and give... I need to decide what color I want to do the base as well. Yeah, I might just actually cheat and do the... give it this exact whitewash. There we go. I'm impressed actually about how well the duochrome blends into the ink. Some paints from different brands, especially if one's like wash versus textured or whatever, don't always take with the same level of consistency. So I am glad that this one is taking okay. Yeah, no, it gives it some translucency, but also it's not runny, so I don't need to worry about it going where it isn't supposed to, which is good. This is now a little too pink. very vibrant, even without it being. Because I think at some point, you know, when I'm like done with some of the steps on this, I can go back in with a pure opaque white and do some edge highlighting and really make the white stand out. But for now, this works very well for my purposes. Yeah, this part at the bottom also needs it. Because getting true white always difficult, so always working in the illusion of it is the goal, is the aim. Right, we can start going back over some of what I have already painted to make sure it's let's flooded it a little bit. Hold on. Just remove some of that. Okay. Because yeah, at close range it's going to be a little patchy in places, but I do like, hopefully you can sort of see it, that we get both a bit of yellow, a bit of pink, and a bit of green in the whites from the undercoating that we've done with it. Which I think is done very well. To make it feel, even though we do actually have some literal reflective material in it, it is not purely relying on that to give it the illusion of it being white. This is partially stuff that we've done to kind of get it there. So we're going to also go. Oh, okay, fine. Shade it later. Because we're also going to have to kind of go back in the green, with the green later and reinforce some of the green we started with. But yeah, there's a nice bit of shine going on, and I think is very useful for properly establishing where the shiny bits are, where the highlights are supposed to be, or where the white panels are supposed to be. Contrasts very cleanly. I do think I'll need to go back in at some point with a dark color or a fine liner pen, just to fully cement some of the spots that are an unusual color from other parts. Give the plate work on this another nudge. So we get in both a bit of green, a little bit of pink, and a little bit of white on all of those parts. Yeah, no, Geista selects a suggestion of making those parts opalescent. Your mind, honestly. Big brain plays. This is how we're currently looking. Hey, I respect a good idea when I see a good idea. You know what I mean? All right, I think that's good for the white for now. I think it's also highlighted to me the parts that need the black/dark purple to kind of cement that those are creases and other such things. Where did I put the black? Here it is. The black is here. Yeah, I don't need a lot. Just enough to fill in the remaining gaps or make the bits that look a little off feel more complete. So we are redoing that one there. Just darkening that part down so it's very clear that it's not the green of the armor or the white of the shoulders. Inner thigh color. This part definitely in black. We cemented that already. So we can paint the bottom of the shoe as well also. Actually, that didn't really give me enough paint at all. Let's go in there. Give myself a bit more. And the bottom of the shoe here also needs to be in black. Nice. I think it'd probably be best for readability if I it's a difficult angle. Sorry, give me a sec. I know you can't see this angle very well. Just making sure that I get it. Okay, that should do it. That also means that this area is also okay. A little messy, but nothing disastrous. So we've got the inner thigh in black as well. I think that makes sense in terms of how the armor is working. Oh, we also need to get under her chin. That kind of space there that's in purple to do the pin in black. So it's just... There we go. Looks good. This hand also needs to be recolored. go, that looks good. Just reinforcing some of the cables back here to be in a dark color. And then we can also actually run this little sort of cables in here. Very reticent to actually color those, so hey, if we can get it looking appropriately dingy and in shadow, then I don't need to worry about accurately painting any of that. Well, the top of this ended up getting white paint on it, huh? That's fine. We can manually fix that later. This back part is good. That back part. Let me just continue to get that in. This area behind the pie, I think we resolved would be in black. So let's do that. Also separates the two colors of these together. There's a nice dividing dark line between the two for readability now, so that's good. We can also get this part into the dark color as well, although that might also be green. Oh, that's going to be the white. I see. Okay, we might redo that. Let's see if I can remove some of this while it's still wet. Yes. I understand what this was supposed to be now. I will go in and fix that later when that space is a little drier. In fact, it could probably even a drop of the blue-grey as preamble to having the white mixture on it later. Some light on there in a little bit. Anything else that needs... so it doesn't feel like it's just sitting around uncolored correctly. So that's the main problem, I think. Is anything that feels like it's not been colored needs to be. The hand holding the gun also needs to be in black, matching the other hand. There we go. And on this side. There we go. Finding a... do I bust out the green wash to go and bring up the green in this? I mean, I guess there's highlighting that I still need to do. Definitely getting an interesting space where a lot of this is now, the base coats of it are now like done, and I try not to overdo it in a painting session. I will try my best to get base colors down for readability, and then in a separate session work on getting, let's not accidentally dip our paintbrush into the black. In a separate session, work on getting maximum amount of color and finer shading in. Because trying to do that all in one session can be really exhausting, actually. This is in a space where you can see it good. So it's a matter of pacing yourself. Sometimes when I do these, I get like painting streams I end up still really inspired and end up continuing to paint for a couple hours afterwards. We'll see. I have other like social things to do this evening, so I will not overdo it in my painting. This time round, I will be sure to properly give myself a painting break and return to it another time. But I think the progress made of this from base spray to you know, I mean this is tabletop ready. There's definitely more than 3 colors in a wash. You know, I think you could definitely take this to a table and people would understand what it is and would be recognizable from other things on a table, which is all that you can ask for, honestly. You know, I'm not going for any Golden Demon Awards, you know what I mean? So sometimes you can done is better than perfect, but there is additional fuss into this that I would probably quite like to do to cement. Man, the white really worked. I don't know whether we've actually got a duochrome effect on this, but it definitely feels. It definitely has a complexity of color to it, which is the main concern. Yeah, that area under the knee. I might be able to get away with making this problem as well. Do we want to? What color do we want this cable? We don't touch these cables yet. We can definitely make those a color. I kind of talked about adding in red accents into this, but I'm now becoming not so sure. You know, it's not feeling as necessary as it did previously. I suppose what red accents there would be are actually going to be very sparing, and that might be the thing to go and tie the piece off, right? There are some stuff like these little dots here that could be in red, some cables on the back that I think will add a shine that we haven't really, you know, done elsewhere to kind of give it a bit of extra pop. Because contrast can mean multiple things. It can be shiny versus matte. It can be light versus dark. It can be saturated versus desaturated. But it can also be color contrast. In this instance, having a little bit of red in a mini that has a lot of green. Such a small additional detail that we're adding here. Just giving it a little bit of an extra bit. A little bit of blood red where everything otherwise is a cool mint green. Let's see here. Choice looking figure. Thanks, Queeks. I appreciate it. It has gone very nicely. The process of painting this, I think. Yeah, how you doing, Queeks, by the way? Long time no speak. Hope you have been well. Hope you've been vibing. Thriving and surviving. Yeah. These additional touches of red, I think, do quite well. The impression of depth on the screens is very good. It's genuinely, me using a very thick gloss and it just kind of like dripping down to the bottom of the screen. Hot and exhausted? Yeah, it's a hot day today. It's a hot day today. I hope you are finding time and space to keep yourself cool, because goodness knows we don't want to overheat ourselves like, you know, last year with the heat wave was fucking intolerable. So finding those spaces to be able to look after yourself is important. Yeah. We need to kind of tidy up some of the shiny purple and that, and color in that area back there as well. Do we need anything else in red? You have a USB fan to... Ah, perfect. There we go. Perfect. Just keeping that in red. Is there anything else that needs to be red? Maybe we'll even... have a little red on the side of the gun there for a bit of color contrast, so it doesn't feel too samey. All right, okay. Still taking a bit of this, and we're just kind of applying it into this back panel here. Nice, like that. Okay. We need to cement the shiny purple up there as well. Okay. Right, so we need... was it $5 purple we were using? It was $5 purple. Just getting a dot of that. I'm just using it to clean up the top of this. It's already glossy, but the purple's not looking very clean and intact, so getting that little extra bit of polish in there I think is good. Technically there's this area in the back as well, so let's go in there. Make sure that's all nicely painted. Cool. That kind of area in the top. I mean, it's hard to see, and I guess I can get a paintbrush in there, so it's not like it's going to be. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna. Just kind of flood fill in the dark color, so it's difficult to see. This is not a visual focal piece of it, so it's okay if it's just kind of flood filled. But that is looking very good. It's looking very good. There's a spotlight there that I need to clean. Yeah, I am very happy with this. This looks very, very cool. Oh, let's do the base real quick. How do I want to do the base? Oh, we can do the base in white. Yes. This hasn't fully dried yet. Let's get a little bit of a Stormcast white grey. What is that? Because there's a nice contrast paint that we use. That We don't want the Briar. We don't want to use the Briar Queen contrast. I mean, we can actually. There's nothing stopping us from doing this. I've been entirely too invested in this whole thing. Hey, I'm not going to say you shouldn't. I'm not going to say you shouldn't be. By any stretch of the imagination. We're going to get our thicker brush. Just going to like get a nice dip of the Briar Queen's chill. We're just gonna slap it onto the base. Just kind of get it on and across the surfaces in the recesses and all that, and then we're gonna go over it using our duochrome wash. And then hopefully it means that we end up with something that has the same kind of strange pearlescent effect that the rest of the white does on the top. Because that already looks interesting with the purple and green.
Either way.
Hey, thank you for the follow, Priscilla. Are you queen of the desert also? Thank you. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for hanging with us if you've been just chilling in chat so far. Just getting that. Oh, it's quite thick. We probably do need another spot of the white ink to get it to where it needs to be. This pot can close. Let's not have a spare pot just sitting around. That is how spillages occur. Okay. Oh. Yes, I am still listening, YouTube. Please. It's fine. We'll move on to a different tune. Oh, that's not on my playlist at all. What are you doing? Not at all my playlist. What are you up to? Let's go and find, what am I looking for? Suspense. Since we're ending, we can have a bit more of a relaxing tune as we are wrapping up what we're doing. Was this maybe a little too thick? It's fine. Maybe it's a thing that I should be sponging instead, maybe. I don't hate it. I do think it's something I should be sponging though. Do I have a sponge handy? I should do. Hold on. Kind of foam inserts that you get with every fucking miniature that you buy. These. It's tearing off an edge. Get it into that paint. Just start sponging it on instead. I think it's much more interesting of a texture. That looks all right. I'm into this. A lot more textured. Don't forget the sides. I tend to do the base rim last, but actually, you know what? Yeah, this is going to be multiple layers to get this to be smooth, but it could look good. Actually, if we are doing this, I need to make sure that my hands aren't going to put any paint on the mini and get it from the base. Just do this. Okay. Let's see. Grab you and some blue tack. Adapt, improvise, overcome. God. Stay. Okay. We have very crudely stapled onto some paint, some blue tacked onto a pink pot, which means I can get the entire base rim. It's not perfectly in the middle, but it doesn't matter for what we're doing. This is just so I have access to all the edges of the mini. And we're just gonna kind of like gently go round maybe 2-3 times. Oh God, fuck's sake. This was exactly what I was afraid of happening. How about you actually stay on the top of the thing, please? That'd be great. That'd be absolutely wonderful. There we go. It is, because it is a larger mini than normal, definitely a bit heavier. Fortunately, it didn't fall in any paint. We're good, we're good, we're good. I did manage to... so when I was painting something on Friday, I temporarily superglued it with a very small attachment point to a base, just so I could get it base sprayed and it wasn't freestanding, because I wanted to move it to a different base later, right? And I finished my paint job and was like, okay, time to just kind of like take an X-Acto knife and wedge it away from the super glue that was the attachment point. And it worked. It popped off directly into the remainder of some still drying paint in my paint pot. And I had to do a little bit of repainting to go and fix it. But it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't the end of the world. I was able to largely fix what went wrong, but it was very embarrassing. You're good, you're good. It's all fine. It didn't, I haven't ruined my paint job at all. Inspecting. I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't see anything wrong with it. We got away with it. We got away with it, kids. Yeah, this the base is going to be very streaky until I go through it on a separate occasion and fully get it to be smooth. But doesn't look too bad. I may actually have to go with the pearlescent white or something. That looks alright though. Oh, I'm putting a gold trim or like a gold dry brush on the edge of that. That looks sick once that's dry. I'm not doing it now. But yeah, this is looking... This looks fucking great, I think. I think this has really, really turned out nicely. It's not done. It's not done. I need to go back in, you know, revisit some of that green, neaten up the edges on like the wings and things like that, because I've definitely overpainted some of that green with some of the white. But the state that it's in, very good, I think. I really like how the backpack came out with the gold and the shiny dark purple. I I think that looks really nice. The small accents of red in like the cabling. Just tiny, tiny bits of red to get it there. Yeah. The pearlescent white was a very good call. Nice. I think that's a job well done, everybody. Yeah. And in under 3 hours. In under 3 hours. 0 to hero. All right, sick. Give me a second. I'm gonna go find where we can pass the love on to. But in the meantime, for now, do know that I will be back with our regularly scheduled programming on Thursday, playing more Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Oh, Mario VT is doing. Oh, yes. She has got a new outfit that she's debuting. So she's got her summer outfit for debuting. So we're gonna go and pass the love on to her. Get that raid channel going. There we go. Gonna go start that raid. But yeah, go and catch us next Thursday for more Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. And keep an eye on Twitter or Tumblr for when I will post the finished version of this. I'm still actually pretty high energy, so I might end up doing some of the finishing touches like off camera, where I do it without having to go and crane over my camera and things like that, right? But for now, I have been your androgynous android game show host from the future, Nathan Blades. This has been the Neon Costa Twitch channel, and we'll see you all next time. Have a fantastic afternoon, everybody. Peace.